challenging. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed were you in your Lakers last night?
Skip, I don't really know how to answer this because I didn't expect them to win. I think my greatest disappointment with how bad they looked in defeat. I mean, they gave up 91 points to the Bulls' big three, Lonzo Ball, Zach Lavine, and DeMar DeRozan. And Lonzo Ball came back and said, I tweeted last night, somewhere LeVar Ball is sitting back in his chair saying, I told you.
That is correct.
I told you. But Skip,
he might have been yelling it out the window. Yep.
So there was some disturbance going on in Chino.
Yep.
It was LeVar Ball.
It was LeVar.
DeMar DeRozan got it going last night, 15 to 23, his three-ball. And DeMar is not a really good three-ball shooter. He rarely even shoots the three.
He made a couple.
But for some reason, everybody can shoot the three really well when it comes to playing the Lakers. Skip, that's why I said it's hard for me to answer this question because I didn't have expectations. And I said, Skip, if they win this game, this will be their most impressive win. But I didn't expect them to win because when you look at it, Skip, they're a bad basketball team. Skip, I wish I can get around. I wish I can say, well, Skip, if we do this, right now they're just bad. And LeBron is going to be back, I think, at some point in time, maybe middle of the week, towards the end of the week. That can't come soon enough, but I don't know because they won't defend. They won't defend. They won't stop turning the ball over, and they won't defend. And you see, again, the third quarter, they're minus 89 in the third quarter, which is the worst in the NBA. We saw what happened, Friday night to Minnesota. They gave up 40 in the third, scored 12. Well, they scored 25 last night in the third, but they gave up 37.
Yep.
So that's their problem. Skip, we can say, you know what? Yeah, they missed some shots. The Bulls came out with a strategy that we hadn't seen. They doubled AD. Every time he touched the ball, they doubled down on him. And when he swung the ball, guys missed shots.
Yep.
But they're a bad basketball team. Let's just cut to the chase. They're a bad basketball team. They turn the ball over entirely too much, and they refuse to defend. And when you have those three, other than that, they're a pretty good team. But they got three things that'll cause you to get beat on a nightly basis, which is turning the ball over, not defending, and not making shots. And fourth, I'm saying this is fourth, but the first thing is, Skip, they're not good. They're not good, Skip.
Okay. My issue with everything you just said is I still look at what's left without LeBron.
Yes.
And I still look at the circumstance of last night. The Bulls had to play the Clippers the night before. I watched every dribble of the game. Trust me on this. It was a physical basketball battle. Went down to the wire. They pulled ahead at the end because Zach Lavine just took the game over, and they wound up winning that game by 10. And they had to turn right around, albeit not having to travel, but you're on the road in L.A., and you have to turn right around and play the Lakers, who got to play an early Sunday game at 12:30 Pacific time. So they had more of a day and a half off to get ready for this game. And I still look at what's out on the floor, and I don't know. To me, Anthony Davis is a top 10 player, maybe a top 5 player, right? He's right now 7th in PER. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he's playing well.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook is going to be a cinch, slam dunk, first ballot Hall of Famer, correct? Carmelo Anthony is going to be in the Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure. Dwight Howard's going to be in the Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but what Rondo might make it into the Hall of Fame. So the point is, there's still a lot of firepower, and they've gotten back Talen Horton-Tucker, who's been playing at an extremely high level and did again last night. He was really good last night, especially in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. And you look at Ellington, he's come back as a designated off-the-bench three-point shooter. Unfortunately, he went 1 for 6 last night. But they're getting whole, they're getting healthy, except for LeBron and Kendrick Nunn, right? And yet, the irony of all this is, their best defender so far has a pulled hamstring, and he's undrafted out of the University of Oklahoma as a rookie, and his name is Austin Reeves, and he couldn't go the last couple of games, and he's the only one who's been Caruso-like on defense, who's been making stuff happen, right?
Yes.
And your best defender from a year ago is now a Chicago Bull, and he didn't score last night, but he wreaked a lot of havoc.
And that's an amazing thing, Skip. The guy played almost 35 minutes, had 0 points, and was plus 28.
Caruso.
He had the second highest plus minus behind Zach Lavine, and he didn't score a point.
But he threw in a couple of steals, and he had 5 assists and 6 rebounds. Okay, that's just what he does.
Thank you.
He just makes stuff happen all over the floor.
He does.
Okay, so now I look at Anthony Davis and the whole goal last night. The Bulls came out and said, we're just not going to let you beat us. We're going to double you every time. I think he got doubled the first 15 times he had the basketball.
Yes.
And he wasn't sure what to do with it. It's like he tries to force the action because you're all over him. You got to play aggressive.
Yep.
You got to impose your will on him. And he tried, and then he's dumping to the three-point shooters. And what do? From three, they go 6 of 32. 6 of 32. That's a grand total of 18.8%. That's going to get you beat because you got outscored from the three-point line plus 27 by 27 points because the other team is making them like crazy because you're not getting hands up anywhere. They're getting wide open threes at will, although at the first of the game, Zach Lavine is just saying, I don't care who's up on me. I don't care where it is. I'm just going up and shooting this, and I'm going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, Avery Bradley's just too small to guard like Zach Lavine.
Nope.
I mean, you can try all you want to. He's too small to guard DeMar DeRozan.
Okay, and yet the crushing blow here is they did not have Vucevic, who's averaging 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Well, their big guy wasn't there. Your big guy was there. And what happens? Not a lot happened. And what was the sort of hit bottom moment of the game, which was fitting of the whole game? Yeah, Anthony Davis was in the third quarter. The game is completely out of hand. He drives, he loses his shoe. He's sitting on the floor, just out of bounds on the baseline. Lost his shoe, and he says, well, give me just a second here. And the ref says, no, we're going to go. We're going to go without you. And they get to inbounds the ball, and he spits at the rep, not literally, but
he said that's a bull jive.
Yeah, right. I think he used the BS word.
Yeah, that's a bull jive. And it was. Skip, you know they normally get the ball's out of bounds. You normally.
This was insult to injury, right? This is where they just say, okay, that's enough. And he already had one tech. You get your second. Walk up the tunnel.
And he basically said, look here, y'all bad anyway. Go on and get your early shower, AD.
Okay. So here's my biggest issue with this team. When LeBron comes back, he's still going to have to figure out how to win in spite of Russell Westbrook. So it is now time for our daily highlight here on Undisputed.
No, don't do it, Skip. Don't do it. Don't you put together. Skip, we only had 4 last night.
But he went 0 for 6 from 3, which was a killer. So could we see the Westbrook 6 threes, please, in a row? These are his 3-point misses. They're just daring him. Yeah, okay, you shoot that, clank. Here, Russ, just go ahead. I'm not even going to get a hand up. Not a bad shot. Just didn't go in. 0 for 6. Oh, daring. Westbrook. And then Russ, well, go ahead. At least a hands up. A lot of iron there. A lot of irony. Here, Russ. Okay, Russ says, I got this. Oh, he was trying to bank it.
I think so, too.
Bank it, and
he
didn't quite get to the bank.
Why don't he bank his 3-pointers?
That's wide open. Caruso got a hand up. And nothing but iron. That's 0 for 6. And then just for fun, he only had 4 turnovers last night, which was actually one below his leading average.
That was good.
But the 4 were pretty abominable. So could we please see the 4? Here's the first one. This one just got me. Like, Russ, what Russ, stop it. Most people, you get yanked for that, right? Russ. Okay, Russ, come on. You got to be a little more careful with the ball than that. Come on, Russ. Here we go. Russ, he's fighting. He gets an offensive foul. Okay. All right. And one more for the night, just as a little nightcap. It's just completely out of control basketball. What are you doing? All those drive LeBron James, highest IQ in basketball, out of his mind. Where especially when he comes back on the floor and he has to experience it like up close and personal while he's in the game, he's like, what are you doing?
But a part of that, Skip, is that I don't know why Frank Vogel insists on playing Rondo and Russ together. Skip, they are horrible shooters. Why would you put two horrible shooters on the court at the same time?
Because he's hoping Rondo can slow things down and settle things up and run the point and let Russ play off the ball. Let Russ attack and drive off the wing.
Skip, the thing that's in Russ. That's who he is. Just like you said, the thing about earlier, in the earlier segment, you talked about Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
When he was in Detroit, he would turn the ball over at the most, even though he's in a better situation, the turnovers are still in him.
They're
and
in him.
Sean McVay had done a great job thus far of minimizing it.
I agree.
The turnovers are in him. And even when you minimized it to 4. It wasn't the 7. It wasn't the 10. But then when you look at 0 for 6 from 3, and not one of those shots was close, along with 4 turnovers. It's tough to overcome that.
It's hard to overcome it. And yet, from the floor, he shot it okay last night because he was 8 of 19. At halftime, he was really good because he already had, 19 points? I believe he scored 6 in the second half. But when you're 0 for 6 from 3, they're wasted trips and they're psychological daggers for the Lakers because they're like, oh, God, here we go again.
But I can't have AD. Horton Tucker has 19 shots. That's double what AD had.
Yep.
Melo had 1 more shot than AD. Russ had double the shots that AD had. We can't have that.
You cannot have that.
I don't care if he double. I don't care if he triple. AD needs more than 9 shots. AD needs to be, every game needs to be somewhere between 15 and 20. That's at the bare minimum. If he gets 25, I'm cool with that too.
Yep. So I believe that Russell Westbrook is actually feeling pretty good about his new home, back home in L.A. as the Lakers point guard because he's now averaging 19, 9, and 8. So he's creeping up there toward averaging a triple-double, right?
And guess what we're averaging? In that 19, 9, and 8, we're averaging a loss a game. He's averaging 19, 9, and 8, and we're averaging a loss. And it's 19, 9, and 8.
You are 8 and 7.
Yep.
And that includes an early cakewalk schedule in which you got 12 of your first 15 at home, and that ended last night.
That's a situation. You get a schedule like that, Skip, you're supposed to be 12 and 3.
Well, you should be. It
12
was set
and 3
up.
12 and 3 hit the road. You feeling good about yourself.
You went and got Russell Westbrook to be 12 and 3 without LeBron.
Yes.
Right? That's the point.
Yes.
Right? Because he's that guy. He's a cinch Hall of Famer. He's averaged triple-doubles for the last 5 years. Unfortunately, as I kept reminding you, he's also led the league in turnovers 4 times and been second 4 times, and he is running away with the turnover lead as we speak.
Skip, Russell Westbrook is that onion. I don't care how big a dish you make. If you put an onion in it, you're going to be able to taste that onion.
Yep. Okay.
I don't care how great the players you put around him. He's that guy. He's going to have an imprint that you're going to be able to taste, you're going to be able to smell because he's so dominant in what he does.
I cannot eat onions. They do not agree with me, as my mother used to say. And they, as Ernestine always says, they repeat the rest of the day. They just keep coming up in your mouth, right?
I hate that.
Okay.
Stop, and I won't.
Okay.
Please don't order. If we go on a date, please don't order onions on anything.
And if they're in something that I don't know that it's in there, I'll know pretty quickly.
Yes.
This has got onions.
But Skip,
onions or garlic, either one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Skip, I get it. Sometimes you got to cook with it because it gives it flavor.
Yeah.
But when you bring it to me, can you make sure they're not on there? I got to get the flavor, but I can't taste them. I can't taste them in my mouth.
So you keep tasting Russell Westbrook the rest of the night because he's just in there.
He in there, Skip.
Onions are in the soup somewhere, right?
It is. I don't care how big a dish. You can put a small amount of onion in there, Skip, but you're going to taste it.
Okay, and remember, he is now shooting 29% from 3. That ranks 143rd of 160 players. 143rd. It's abysmal, and it's devastating to the Lakers.
But, Skip, I've always heard say, shooters shoot. He's not a shooter. He's a scorer.
But he shoots.
Shoot. Kevin Durant, if it was, shoot it, KD. Steph Curry, shoot it. Steph, Dame Lillard, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it.
Russ is still considered statistically a high-volume three-point shooter.
Yes.
He took 6 last night and didn't scratch.
But he's also considered an inefficient shooter.
Yep.
Those other guys, KD is an efficient. Steph, for the amount of the distance that he shoots the ball for as many threes, he's an efficient shooter. Considering that he's taking 10, 11 threes a night, on the average distance of about 25 feet.
You're actually lucky to be 8-7 because the guy who made you 8 was Carmelo Anthony at home making those shots that he made. And then what happened last night? It's going to happen. Yeah. He went 0-4 from 3.
Well, you know what, Skip? I would feel a little bit better, but those 2 games, we're 8-7. We should be 10-5. We should be 10-5. We should have lost to OKC, Skip. We had a 26 and a 19-point lead.
I just couldn't believe it. At the end of the game, 2:53 left. You were down 28 points to the Chicago Bulls playing without Vucevic back-to-back.
Skip.
28?
And people look at the final score, they're like, it wasn't that close. 18 points doesn't do this score justice.
You're down 28. Something's wrong.
Skip, we bad. Skip, we bad. There ain't nothing wrong. We bad.
Hurry back, Lagon.
There you go. He gonna make it all right, Skip.
Is he?
He gonna make it all right.
Ooh. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.